One of the brands I get asked about an awful lot is Tone King. And until today, my answer has been the only ones I've had any experience with were the older ones made by Mark Bartel. I've not had any of the newer ones made by the new ownership, so I don't really have an opinion to offer. This Sky King just came in, so let's form an opinion together. The owner's complaint was that it made a very loud hum, then blew a fuse. That's often an output tube, a power tube. It could also be something associated with that output tube, such as a screen grid resistor. Let's turn this thing around, open it up, and find out. All right, 4 screws holding this in place. They're machine screws, not wood screws, so it won't wear out if you take the panel in and out a few times. And let's see if under the dress washer is a flat washer, as it should be to protect the Tolex. Yeah. So flat washer beneath the dress washer so the cup of the dress washer doesn't press into the Tolex so much and cut it. That's good. I'll put this to the side. All right, got a great big honking foot switch that can bang around in here in transit. I would not carry this in the amp if I were the owner, just because it's a lot of mass to bang into speakers and such. So I'm going to unplug that foot switch for right now, put it to the side. For Tone King by Celestion, it's a 1660, 60 watt, 16 ohms. I don't know which speaker that is. There's the main. You have a choice of 8 or 16. He had it set to 8. It's a 16 ohm speaker. Maybe he was using it with an extension cab. If not, that could be contributing to the issue this amp had. It's a very large transformer there, That all bodes well. Let's unplug the reverb stuff. I do like it when you have discrete removable connections to a chassis. I don't like it when all the cables run inside the chassis. It makes it much harder to disassemble things. Looks like a pair of 6L6s, a GZ34 or 5AR4, and then 5 preamp tubes. Has an attenuator. This is how it came in, so the attenuation wasn't really active on either one. That's probably not contributing to any issues. Has a pin-toed ultralinear mode switch, power and standby, and the foot switch jack. All right, so it looks like just 4 screws holding the chassis. Let me take those out and carefully slide the chassis out. I know you can't really see much with the exposure. I'm not going to fiddle with that right now, but the construction of the cabinet seems very good. All plywood, not MDF. All the hardware is secure. They have an awful lot of it up here. The speaker is tight, so all that's good. A very nice, like Cordura nylon reverb tank bag. Much nicer you get in mini amps. So, everything here says quality. And the screws which hold the chassis to the cabinet not only have these large dress washers, but they have these rubber isolation points here. So it won't vibrate quite so much. Nice little touches like that. They all add up. There's like a clamshell design with this aluminum panel that sits flush here, then bends down behind the rear panel. It's held in place by screws in the corners, and some of the screws are partially covered by this dampening foam. So I've got to get those screws out without messing this up too much. Not too bad. I'm sure if I cut little semicircles out of here, it won't affect the overall structure. Well, before I show you the insides, I got that panel out without any problem. I wanted to remove the power tubes because I suspect that one of those is most likely the culprit. And here's something that's important to show. And I hope to God it's not factory. These Sovtech tubes, they say 5081s. It's the same tube as a Sovtech 6L6. The ones sold as 6L6s have larger bases. This little coin base 5881 was never designed to be used with these bear trap tubes because the pressure of these retainers and the little pinpoints of sharp metal that are supposed to clamp into the plastic base of a tube instead go into the glass of the tube itself, and that's where it's contacting this one. It's contacting the glass. I don't know if you can see that. Let me move this a little bit. So you can see here on the rectifier, those little points, those little metal points are digging into this plastic. Here, they're digging into this glass, and that could well be what caused one of these tubes to die if that's the case. Even if that's not the case, and that the problem is not a tube, that could kill one of these tubes, because you're not supposed to have sharp metal things poking into the glass right in this area. I can feel the scoring there. Eventually, it can cause it to break, even if it did not actually puncture it all the way. Anyway, we'll put those to the side and flip this around. We'll take a look in that area. Well, I'll go through everything in this sample later because I've got to pull this entire board, I'm pretty sure. But the immediate problem, you can see here, this cap has exploded and there's some electrolyte sticking up in the air. It's totally domed. It's a high quality Nichicon cap, or it used to be. And I don't know what part of the circuit that's in yet. I will have to find out. All right, I just saw an interesting thing. Like I was preparing myself to say, I won't know fully what's going on until I remove this board and flip it up and take a look, because I've got to work out the schematic. But there are these two large 10-watt resistors here, right next to this cap here. And it's rare for a capacitor to just start going short, blowing open like that. Something usually has to cause it to draw more current than it's rated for, or for voltage to be way off. Each of these 10-watt resistors has split down the middle. Let's see if you can see it there. I didn't do this. I'm revealing a break. So something in these ceramic-clad wire wounds has gone seriously amiss. And aside from the ceramic breaking, the text was gone. All the other 5 and 10 watts in the amp still have print on them, but the print burned off of these. These got really hot. So something in that area is drawing an awful lot of current. And it's due to physical proximity. It's probably the same part of the circuit where this cap gave up the ghost. I'm wondering if it's related to their ultralinear pentode output modes. And one other thing that's interesting, I'll reach out to some contacts I have at the company that makes these. But this white wire, where this quick connect was just tucked in here, not connected here. And I don't know whether this is supposed to be tucked over here or whether it's supposed to be connected here and has come loose from vibration or something. I will find out. That I'm going to reach out to the manufacturer on. Well, on closer inspection, this white one that's not connected, P1 here says red, yellow. This red, yellow, going to P2. P2 says yellow. This yellow is going to P3, which says white. So I've sent an email out to a guy at Tone King to see if this needs to come here, this needs to come here, and this needs to be connected to here, whether this is a later revision, and these are relays. All the other colors are going to their connectors, which say blue, black, I guess it's violet, black, green, orange, gray, brown. That's where those two look the same to me, but it says it on the board. So I don't know whether someone was in here and messed this up, though judging by that stickum that seemed to be factory, I can't imagine that someone's been in here. So I'm going to find out about this from the horse's mouth, so to speak. This lifts up. I was hoping you would have the quick connects like the Friedmans, which make this a little bit easier to take all out together. But I think I can flip this up to access this area. But I definitely need to see what's going on over here. And then once we know what failed and why, we'll know whether it's one of those things that could happen to any amp, or if there's any issue with the Tone King for us to be aware of or on the lookout for. But my initial impressions are of an amp done very, very well. We shall see what we shall see shortly.